Good morning, class. Today we are going to talk about states and capitals for our social studies segment. As you can see, here's the map of the United States. And also in this orange slide, we are going to talk about state jeopardy and how we're going to use that for so that we can study and go over what we learned in this unit. In this slide, it talks about the table of contents. This will talk about what each slide will be discussing. So first we're going to talk about the definition of states and capitals. We will then discuss the 4 regions of the United States. We will go into more detail for each region to include what states fall into each region. I will then discuss what state jeopardy is, how to play state jeopardy, and the rules of the classroom so that we can have fun with this unit. I also created a web page that will be useful throughout this lesson, and we will wrap up the lesson with the conclusion slide. So a state is a nation or territory considered as an organized political community under one government. For this lesson's purposes, the states will consist of the 50 that are in the United States. Now, a capital is defined as the most important city or town of a country or region, usually its seat of government and administrative center. This definition can be a little bit confusing. So for this lesson, we will just say it's the most important city or town of the state. That definition could also be confusing because there are some major cities that you would think are the state's capital, but they actually are not. One of those states is New York. A lot of people confuse the city with the capital with New York City because it's the most popular, but the capital of New York is actually Albany. And another state that the capital gets confused with is Alaska. A lot of people think Anchorage is the capital, and it actually is not. It is Juneau. Just something to keep in mind. Now, in our own state of Alabama, our capital is Montgomery. So I click on this link, it'll take us to a web page. And in this web page, you can find out all the information you would need to know about our state of Alabama. So, can't use the pointer here. But if you notice where the hand is, you can click on Alabama's Constitution. You can click on the link that talks specifically about Montgomery, gives you information about population, area codes, the birds, the flag, flowers, the songs. So anything that you would need to know, this website would provide it. And then there are those hyperlinks that'll take you to other websites so that you can further look into those specific facts. This will be useful for your state project using websites like this one to get more information. Okay. So the 4 regions that the United States are broken into are the Northeast region, the Southern region, the Midwest region, and the Western region. If you go into these hyperlinks that I have included, Let's try the one for the northeastern region. It'll again take you to another website that'll give you more information for each specific region. You can go into these as you like if you want to get more information on those specific areas. Okay, so the first region we're going to talk about is the northeastern region. As you can see, I've included a map. Okay, so the states included are Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey. This one I'm circling right now is Rhode Island. Then we have New York and Pennsylvania. So some of the capitals a lot of you may know. So for New York, we have Albany. New Jersey, we have Newark. Massachusetts, we have Boston. So as you do your assignment, your state report, some of you will have some of these states and you can get into further detail, like I said, by looking at some of those websites. You'll also be able to grab a book from the library on your state. Now, these states have similarities. They all have very cold winters and snow. So let's go on to the southern region, which is where Alabama falls into. And these states are all underneath the northeastern region and go a little bit over into the middle of the map. So we have Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Alabama, Kentucky, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. Okay, the Midwestern region is in the middle of the United States, so you'll see these states above Texas. So you have North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Indiana, Michigan, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Ohio. In a lot of these states, you'll find a lot of farming, and again, you will find snow. So this takes us to the last region, which is the Western region. You will find these all the way to the left on your map. These states include Washington, California, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, Hawaii, Alaska, Colorado, New Mexico, Wyoming, and Montana. Some of us know you have San Diego, California, Denver, Colorado, Seattle, Washington. A lot of those states that I just mentioned, we know because of football, but those are their capitals. And on this map is the locations off to the side where you see Alaska and Hawaii. Some maps, like the first map shown, they will have them at the bottom. These two states are not actually connected to the United States. Alaska is connected to Canada, and Hawaii is just a set of islands off in the water. So you will usually hear the 48 continental United States plus the two, Alaska and Hawaii. Okay, so now we're going to talk about state jeopardy. So at the end of every region that we discuss, we will have state jeopardy for that region. And it'll help us go over before your quiz on each region, and then we will have a double jeopardy at the end of the entire unit that'll cover all 4 regions. So we'll talk about how you choose a category, and the answers must be in question form. Okay, so this is an example of the categories that you will have. So right here on top, you'll see the categories are states, capitals, major cities, sports teams, and where am I? So if you say I want states for 100, that would be this one. It says my capital is Topeka. You would raise your hand and say, what is Kansas? That's how you would answer that. And during the actual state capital categories, each box underneath the category will have the amount. So it'll be 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and that's how you'll collect your points. Okay, so the class rules are your groups will be the tables you're assigned into. Everyone will answer at least one question. Outside groups will not help each other, and there will be no disrespectful noises or comments such as boo, or that's not right, or you cheated. We won't have any of that, or we will cancel State Jeopardy and not continue on. So here I've created a website. This will help you with your research. This will help you with studying, and your state report paperwork is on this website. So you click on that. It'll take us to my webpage for this unit. So if you see, there's your map of your 50 states. Okay, quick overview. Right here is where you'll see everything needed for your state report, and this can be filled out with your book, with this website, with the presentation. Down here, you will also see my lesson on a podcast to help you. Here's some photos. And here is a YouTube video on how to play Jeopardy if you need more help. And here's a great song from the Animaniacs on all the 50 states and capitals. Okay, so to go over, we talked about the definitions of state and capital. We talked about the 4 different regions of the United States, and we discussed our state Jeopardy game that we will be playing after each region and at the end of the unit. So please remember, it's important to learn about our country so that we may understand and have pride in it. This can be done in a fun manner, and that's what we'll be doing with State Jeopardy. Thank you.